You don't want to be giving it away. There are people who sell books and make a loss on them, which I just think, well, really, I could get that book selling quite well if I charged $2.99 for it. But if I did that, I'd be losing £2 every time I printed one.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have it top of the charts. You can. Good for me. I've sold a load of books. But if you're losing money, then that's vanity publishing. You do need to make some sort of money on it. And so, my advice is to any aspiring author or whatever, get it done through Amazon, but then also use the Ingram Spark company to do limited print-on-demand run and do it as a different format, which I'm going to do next with this. And then that way it can get picked up by the bookstores, and the bookstores can sell it as well. And yet you offer a discount then for the bookstores, and generally speaking, somewhere in the region of, say, if it's priced at £10, you sell it to the bookstore somewhere in the region of between about £4 and £6, and you set that amount. You have to set it at an amount where you're going to make money though, otherwise it's vanity publishing. But enough of a discount so that the bookstore can make enough money from selling it. So and then it's in bookstores.
Okay. Well, I've got 3 questions left, and then we're going to go to the audience for questions for you and then have a short break, and then our next speaker. So the first question really is that it's about the confidence, the ability to believe in yourself. Just asking you that question then about, most authors want to get a book on the shelves and they're not that bothered about profit. I think I'm probably a bit like that if I was writing fictional text. Is that, you're an ex-MGS boy, you've got a PhD, and, sort of sciences and what have you. Do you think you've been taught this sort of confidence and the ability you can do it with a sort of a company to do the publishing, or do you think that's just evolved as you've got older and your desire to do things?
It's weird, isn't it? It's like certain things you're very confident at, and other things you're not. I mean, I'm never a natural public speaker. I get a bit nervous about that. But when it comes to, do I think I'm good enough to do something like this? The answer is yeah. And I suppose one of the things about writing a book is you think if I write an absolute howler and I put my name on it, then you would feel, you're going to make an idiot of yourself. But I didn't. I looked at it and showed it a few people, and it's like, no, I'm not making an idiot of myself. It's good, so that's okay.
Good. So the next question is, what's your favourite book?
Tough. I mean, I really like Bonfire of the Vanities by Tom Wolfe. I think that's a cracking book. I know he's got some slightly dubious political views, or he did, he's passed away now, I think a year or two ago. But he's a superb author in the style of Dickens, and I like that style of writing, where again, it's very character-based. It's very based on the nuances of real life, and he has the eye of a journalist, and I like that. I'm by trade a psychologist, so I spend a lot of time observing people, so I'm a discursive psychologist, so did a lot about stuff about language and what people say, how people do things with words effectively, and maybe how words do things with people. That's what I like. So I've written a book which I think plays to my strengths. If I'd have written a book which was 400 pages of description about a red rag blowing in the wind, I think it would have been a stinker. Now, there are some authors who can do that, and maybe that's what they're great at. But that wouldn't be me. What I'm good at is writing dialogue and observation and playing back a mirror to the world, I think, which is a Tom Wolfe style, is what Dickens did. But you make it slightly larger than life to make it more interesting. And that's the style I went for, effectively. I think it worked.
Well, so the final question is, DidsburyFM is a community network. And we set up because Brexit told us that we were all lonely and isolated communities, and we're trying to reconnect here in Didsbury with DidsburyFM with our community and people in it. And so I like the demographic of the characters in your book. They're quite representative. I love the elderly, my more mature neighbours, because they've got so much experience and so much to learn from. And so I quite like that about the book. It's not just for it's not just for millennials. It's not.
No, it's not just from one group of age group or anything. It's from all the different ages and all their different perspectives. Obviously, it's easier for me to write the ones that are middle-aged or younger because I've been younger. Well, I've not been 70, but I have an idea of how that would be. So yes, I absolutely wanted to do that. I didn't want it to just be from one demographic. And the other thing was, I get asked, why did you, as a male, write the hero or the heroine is effectively a female character and a scientist. So why did you write a female scientist? And I've done genetics at university for a year or so as part of natural sciences. I can tell you most biologists are women. So when I thought about writing a biologist or as a character, it never occurred to me to do anything but a woman, because most of the people who do it are women. Now that's not the stereotype in the media, but that, having been in a lab and turned around and 9 out of 10 people are women in a genetics lab, it just made me think I never thought of anything else really.
Yeah. So just from that then, what does community mean to you then? I mean, you've written about these broad characters, you live in Didsbury, you've grown up in Manchester, you're one of our few sort of Manchester born and bred guests. What does community mean to you? I
think obviously there's a sense of belonging. The book's actually part set in Didsbury as well, so there's part of my life in it and other bits and bobs, and set in the north of England, albeit other places too. Helping each other really. The theme of the book is about someone who's trying to do the right thing, and someone who's as I said, she's the heroine of the book really, even though she's a flawed heroine. That's what she's trying to do, and she's up against it. So sometimes it's not easy to have a sense of community or do the right thing or help each other, but it's important that you do. Capitalism and life can make it quite hard to do that at times, but if you can do that, then generally, the good. I always think, good will win out really.
What a lovely place to end on. Can we give a round of applause to Ben, please?
So the book's available on Amazon. Basically, if you Google the name and stuff, and then hopefully in a couple of months it'll be in bookstores as well. Also download it electronically.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that advertising pitch.
Thank you.
But I wonder if people have got questions for Ben. I've got one last question that I didn't ask you, but I'll say that till at the end. Do people have questions? If you could just say your name and if you're local, it'd be good to get to know this.
So Jacqueline, I live in Didsbury. My question was, how long did it take you to complete the book, and was it difficult to know when to stop?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question, because in one sense, still if you're not careful, you can carry on doing it forever. So I mean, I clearly started to write it, as I said, it was 3 and a bit years ago. The actual length of time I'm not a person that could just write. I can't remember if it was J.K. Rowling who would just sort of do stuff in a cafe for 30 minutes and pick it up and go again and do something else. I couldn't do that. I think it takes a while to get in the zone. So I think most authors are like that. They take some time to do it. So for me, it was a full-time thing. It was really, I aimed to try and do something with about 50,000 words in a month. Didn't work out that way. But I set myself a target of every day when I woke up of trying to write 2,000 words. And most days I failed. And most days I was in a bad mood as a result, because I was beating myself up about it. Some days I couldn't get more than a couple hundred words out. And then there were other days and maybe I'd write more than 2,000. But effectively it was probably about 4 months full time. I couldn't do it 9 till 5, so I'd try and start at 9, get round to it probably about 10 o'clock, just staring at a cursor for a while. And what I found was a good way of dealing with it was, if I couldn't get writing, because I've got kind of like writer's block, but if you're a bit nervous about writing the next thing, I'd go back and re-edit some stuff of what I've written, and it'd get me going. So change a comma or I missed that, and then after I'd done that for a while, I could then go and write. But effectively, it was probably about 4 months full time, and then I left it for a while, and I probably did about 19 edits of it, albeit not massive ones, just bits and bobs of changes to it. So I took way too long leaving it and editing it and stuff like that. But Stephen King, who's written a great book called On Writing, which he wrote in his hospital bed after he got hit by a drunk driver, and nearly died. I think he was in a lot of pain when he wrote it, and he doesn't hold back. But obviously he's sold gazillions of books, and whether you like Stephen King's writing style or not, he's a very popular author. And he said that you should write a book, do a first edition, get a first copy of it, put it in a drawer, forget about it for 6 months, then go back to it. And that's quite good advice, because you're not quite as immediate to it, so you're not quite so prissy about it. No, this is brilliant. After a while, you become less precious about the book. And then it gives you a bit of distance, and then you approach it as if someone else has written it. It's a very strange thing. I can pick that up, and there's bits of it I just don't remember writing, and that makes it easier to edit, basically. Certainly 6 months. But so yeah, 4 months full time, and then I would say it'd probably take you a good month of editing it on top. But it's quite a long. It's not a long book. It's 120,000 words, but the average book would probably be in the region of 80 to 100 and 80 to 100. So it's a little bit longer than average, not massively.
Yeah, it is a bit. By Hemingway standards, it's a bit long.
Yeah, Hemingway, and a lot of Hemingway's books would now not even be called novels, they'd be like sort of 40-odd thousand words, novellas.
Yeah.
Again, for whatever reason. But yeah, so it depends. But then again, I think A Man in Full by Tom Wolfe, which is a superb book, it's got to be getting on for 550 to 600,000 words.
I've not read that.
It's huge.
Yeah. I like Hilary Mantel, so I'm not dissing all long books.
So long books are good. I think that one of the Bookco nominees, the name of that was it's absolutely huge. There's a book. It's like The Yellow Pages. I can't. It's got some strange. I've forgotten the name of it, but absolutely monumental book. It's like 1 million words or something crazy. It's huge. So there's no right answer to how big a book can be.
Okay. Do we have another question?
Yeah. When you're writing it, when you sit down to actually do it, do you have an idea from where I am at the moment? This is where I want to get to, and you kind of fill in the middle. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you do it at real macro stages?
I basically wrote out chapter at a time. I didn't say this is going to be 30 chapters and this is what's going to happen in every chapter. I needed to know enough in advance that I wasn't going down a cul-de-sac.